What up, speech class? We need to cover the basics really fast here. I had my coffee just for this. EDM stands for electronic dance music. It's an umbrella term for a set of subgenres like house, trance, dubstep, hardstyle, many more. Because of the growing number of people who claim to be producers, many have doubted the difficulty behind making this kind of music. Everyone seems to know someone who's tried producing, right? Some people, like my friend Jack, often say things like,
"It's awful." EDM producing wise is pretty simple. I don't really think it's music.
Yeah. With the same producers who make the songs that ravers go crazy for, making beats for pop and top 40 artists, why is it that EDM still gets questioning? This video's goal is to make people understand that producing EDM is not as easy as one may think.
In this segment, I will be going over some of the basics of producing EDM. I will also be comparing some aspects of producing EDM with rock, since pop and hip-hop beats are produced in a similar way to EDM now. Plus, I'll throw in my own personal experiences with producing. A producer's first step is learning how to use their digital audio workstation, or DAW, of their choice. Digital audio workstations include Logic, FL Studio, and my personal favorite, Ableton Live. Oftentimes, producers switch software due to personal preference and workflow, adding more time to learning new software. I've switched from FL Studio to Logic to Ableton, and each has taken me months to fully understand, but it was worth finding the best software for me. Sound design is one concept that successful producers need to understand how to do. This is done most often through synthesizers. With rock music, the instruments are already chosen basically: guitar, vocalist, bass, and drums. In EDM, producers are literally designing each sound to perfection. Then, once these sounds are made, producers often layer them with more synthesizers to give the mix a fuller sound. Layering requires a good ear for music and knowing what to add. Rock tends to only have around 4 to 10 different layers of different sounds. Now with an EDM song, using only 4 layers and making a hit is almost impossible. Artists like Knife Party use as many instruments in their mix as a full orchestra. Usually an EDM song ranges from 10 to 30 layers of sound. There are different things you could do to the vocals, drums, and guitars, but there aren't as nearly as many options for rock as there are with EDM. When an EDM producer is signed to a record label, there is usually a group of audio engineers who oversee the final mix, but most unsigned EDM artists do the mixing and mastering themselves. One of the most important sectors of mastering is EQing. EQing means using the equalizer plugin to cut out unneeded frequencies from the mix. EQing in EDM can be a challenge because many of the sounds being used are very original. If you type into YouTube how to EQ a piano, hundreds of tutorials will come up. With new and crazy synth sounds, proper EQing is not as set in stone. Producers must trust their ears to know what frequencies to keep and which ones to get cut. This was the hardest part for me to learn, so I don't expect you guys to know exactly what I mean. This concept takes a while to grasp. So those were just a few tools to mix and master, but there are so many more out there that all require learning and understanding of when, where, and how to use them. So after that, a lot of you might be surprised at how complex producing is. This is what so many people attempting to produce don't realize. Understanding music and technology are both equally important. It's not just about having good ideas for songs, but knowing how to translate those ideas into something concrete.
I wanted to get my friend Ricky's perspective on the topic, the biggest EDM fan I know. What would you say to someone that thinks EDM isn't real music?
I would say, well, depending on their music taste, I would say, how can someone who has an ear for music and who sits there for hours and hours a day and makes beats and makes drops and just enter the whole world singing along, how can that not be music?
Well, there you have it. Whether or not you like EDM shouldn't be a basis for judgment on the production side to it. EDM is just as difficult to produce as any other genre of music.